Hey, bud, how you doing?
Billy,
Yeah, good, thanks,
I'm
mate.
good.
What's
How are
going on?
you? Good, good, good.
Yeah,
You
I
can
got you
hear me
loud and
loud
clear,
and
brother.
clear, right? All right, cool, dude. So first of all, let me get started. So those of you that are watching, thank you for all joining now. I know this is quite a big moment for the Sportsfinder team, but my name is Michael Savides, and I'm the host of the Sportsfinder podcast, which is NFTs in the Arena, where we host athletes from all around the world, gaining real insights into their careers and truly understanding what it takes to become a professional athlete, what it means to actually last at the highest level, and also how they integrate in Web3 into their careers, which is why we have Billy Dib on the show. So, Billy, first of all,
Nah,
thank you
doing
for your
great, mate.
time. How
Thanks
are
for
you
having me.
doing,
I
mate?
appreciate it.
No, of course, of course. So, our best Billy the Kid Dib, for those of you that do not know, is an Australian professional boxer. Through his illustrious career, I think the two-time world champion, holding the IBF featherweight title from 2011 to 2013, as well as also holding the IBO super featherweight title in 2008. So, of course, we're grateful to have you on, like a boxing icon like yourself, on the show. And the reason why we're actually having Billy today is because he's launching his first NFT collection on the Sportsfinder marketplace. So we have three tiered collections, in which we'll get into now after I discuss with Billy. So we're effectively allowing Billy's fans now and supporters a chance to actually own a part of unique moments in the time of a true warrior like Billy himself, and actually edging itself in the history of boxing. So Billy, like I normally like to do with our athletes, and just before we get into the NFTs, I like to ask a couple of
Of
questions. I
course,
hope
no
that's
problem
okay
at all.
with you. But typically around the sport of boxing. So starting off, I'm sure obviously when you were growing up and you eventually got into boxing, there must have been an athlete or a boxer that you looked up to. It didn't even have to be a boxer. Who was the person that inspired you to either get into boxing or to become a professional
Well,
athlete,
like
and
most
why?
fighters, the first fighter that really ever inspired me was Muhammad Ali. He was my first inspiration. But then, as I got to know boxing and got to know fighters, I discovered Prince Nassim Hamed at the age of 14, and I quickly became obsessed with Prince Nassim Hamed, and he became my childhood hero. And everyone knows how great Prince Nassim Hamed was. He was such an entertainer, such a flamboyant fighter, and he was somebody that I definitely looked up to and wanted to emulate.
Nah, fantastic, fantastic. And tell me now, so obviously going through the ranks of becoming a professional boxer, you obviously getting introduced to various coaches, various trainers along the way. Is there any particular person that was like the most influential on your career that actually helped you maybe get to that step of becoming a professional athlete, or maybe someone that you can really attribute to some of your success to from the
Well,
managerial or
definitely. I mean,
coaching
there's
point of view?
growing up and coming up in the game, there was everyone played an instrumental part in my career. My first trainer, his name was Rusty Penton, and he was a trainer out of the Sutherland PCYC. But then, shortly after training with Rusty, I found another trainer by the name of Harry Hamoud, who quickly became not just a great trainer, but also a father figure for me. And somebody who was very instrumental in my career, in my style, and my development as a fighter. And Harry and I were together for 113 amateur fights, and as a professional, I was 17-0, undefeated under Harry. And then, just due to circumstances, I needed to move on, and I ended up training with Jack Mosley, who was again played a very big role at that time. Then there was Johnny Lewis, and then Brian Wilmot, and then finally I connected with Billy Hussein, and that's where I've had the most of my success. Billy Hussein and I went on to win the IBF featherweight title together and defended it on several occasions. I would definitely say that the most instrumental person in my career was definitely Harry, who was my childhood trainer, but followed by him is definitely Billy Hussein, who I went on to have the most success with.
No, I mean that's amazing, and I think it obviously shows the progression of your career as you got to different milestones, and it's interesting to hear the different influences each person had. So obviously you're a two-time world
Yeah,
champion, not
which
heavyweight
heavyweight
champion,
champion would have been another.
but imagine, and unless you picked up some weight since your last fight that I saw. But obviously, like you competing at the highest level, you going into these boxing fights knowing this guy wants to knock your head off, you want to knock his head off. What does it take, or what kind of mentality do you actually have to compete at this highest level and to actually maintain it like
Well,
you have?
I always tried to leave no stone unturned in my preparation. I always went in with the mentality that I was one punch and 10 seconds away from disaster, meaning that I could be that I could be hit and knocked out, you know, if I wasn't focused. So I left no stone unturned in my prep. I made sure that I tackled every preparation, you know, with full commitment, and I made sure that I gave 110% everything that I did. So that was what was most important to me.
And kind of actually leads into my next question, Billy. So obviously a lot of our audience, particularly on Sportsfinda, on the social media channels, is a lot of younger aspiring athletes across various disciplines. But one thing is for sure, in order to become a professional athlete, it takes a certain kind of discipline, character, and regime that one needs to follow. So for like the younger people that are watching, whether they want to be a boxer or any other professional athlete, is there anything that you can, maybe any advice that you can impart on these onto everyone, and maybe share some of the key traits in which you believe got to
Yeah,
you
definitely.
to
Look,
where you are now?
I truly believe that everything in your life starts with a vision. You know, if you have a vision and you are clear in your vision and you know exactly what you want to do, all you need to do is remain consistent. That's the next thing that follows after the vision. Remaining very consistent in your approach, in making sure that you do everything correctly. You know, working out what it is exactly that you need to do in the chosen field that you've chosen to be the best, and be as committed as you can. So vision, consistency, is as much consistency as you can have to remain learning and remain progressing to the top. And then eventually, the only thing that will follow after that is success, and that's a given. And I'm not saying that you're going to have the greatest success, but you're going to definitely have success to some state. You know, so vision, consistency, success, remain humble, remain focused, and remain driven to achieve the best that you can.
Yeah, no, I think thank you for that. I think that's wise words, and it definitely resonates with a lot of top tier athletes in which I've interviewed in the past, and ones in which I've obviously watched online. So having said that now, Billy, I just wanted to get a bit into the NFT collection, and obviously this is the intention of this live Instagram video. So for those of you that are watching, Billy, as I mentioned, has dropped his first NFT collection on the Sportsfinda marketplace. We'll be dropping the collection this Sunday. And for those of you that are into the NFT space and into the crypto space, please look out for that. There's a unique collection in which Billy is dropping. We have the gold collection, the fire collection, and obviously the ice cold collection. So I won't go into too much detail, and Billy, we can chat a bit about the NFTs shortly, but the gold collection is obviously seen as the premium NFT, and the one in which we're going to be obviously selling at a higher price with a limited volume of them, but obviously the most unique out of the three. So the gold collection, the way we see it and the way we've helped Billy describe this NFT is essentially that when you think of gold, you think of a champion, you think of a winner, which obviously Billy evidently is. So considering all the titles he's won, all the fights through his illustrious career, 46 wins, and the way I like to say it is that Billy's gold collection is probably dedicated to not only your illustrious career that you've sculpted for yourself, but also sharing this history and maybe the gratitude, like you've spoken about, with the fans that have actually helped you achieve your dreams and allowing you to actually take, or allowing them now to take part in this unique collection that will be edged in the boxing history. And the next one is the fire collection, my personal favorite, and because I kind of resonate with the traits of this NFT. So the fire collection is dedicated to, of course, Billy's pure skill, the grit, the combinations, the desire, and the utter determination, which you've just spoken about, and that you've actually showcased throughout your renowned career. So I like to see it as the fire in your belly. I'm sure you can attest to that, Billy. I mean, when you're in a fight, I can only imagine what you're feeling. But obviously, taking on these professional fights, winning so many fights, taking on opponents that actually have knocked you down and you getting up and beating them, which is, of course, inspiring for a lot of people. This unique collection is offered now to your fans and your supporters as inspiration. So essentially, we all need that fight. We all need to be fighting that good fight. And the last one now, Billy, I got some cool questions for you around the NFTs, but it's mostly sorry, now I'm just going to pop up here, excuse me. The ice cold collection. So ice cold, being clutch under pressure. That's the best way to describe being ice cold. So Billy, after speaking to people that know you, watching some of your fights, and it is known that you've had somewhat of an ice cold temperament and concentration when you're fighting. And remaining calm in the most heated of exchanges has probably allowed you to fast track your career in this fighting game. So why I like this one now, and it already resonates for a lot of our viewers, is that through your ability to move through the ranks and through heroics and achieving these things that you have done, it eventually got you to the point where you had the opportunity to train with the legend Mike Tyson. That alone is something that I do want to ask you about. But before we get into that interaction and that particular chapter in your life led you to sign in with Golden Boy Production. Those of you that know boxing know how prevalent that company is and how that brand is so dominant in the boxing world. So this collection is now obviously testament to the hard work and the unique skills you have acquired to remain at the top of your game. So Billy, I'm super excited about this. I think you're also super excited about this. The question I have for you is that with dropping your first collection on Sportsfinda, it's going to be the first of 3 tiers, the gold, the fire, and the ice. And obviously offering different utility and value for the fans that will be buying these things. The utility is obviously the inherent value which we create through this NFT with your career as the backbone and you obviously as the face of it. You must be excited now that you have the opportunity to actually give back to your fans and give back to your supporters.
Yeah, look, man, it's definitely very nice to be able to give back, and obviously they're going to be buying a piece of my history. That's what it is. So I've had some really great supporters throughout my career, and people who have been instrumental in me reaching the heights that I've reached, because if it's always just about you, you're never going to get there. But if it's about other people around you as well, that's what drives you to get to that next point in your life, to success, So I'm very blessed that I had some really great people around me. I'm very thankful. I'm very appreciative to everyone who supported the journey. And as I said, the journey still continues, but this is an opportunity for you guys to get involved and to buy a piece of the history of Billy Dib.
100%, man, 100%. So obviously the fans and your supporters will likely be the people, as well as NFT collectors. You'll be surprised, Billy, will be purchasing these NFTs. But the nice thing in which I really appreciate from you, and I'm sure your fans will as well, is the giveaways in which you'll be giving to some of the people buying the NFTs. So like, you're going to be doing personal videos, signed gloves, signed hats, and also personal Zoom calls. How important is it for you to connect with your fans?
I look at it like this. I'm nothing without my fans. It's so important for me to give back to the fans, and that, anytime I'm out with my family or doing whatever, and if somebody approaches me, I always give that person the time of day, because I am nothing without my fans. Like, Billy Dib equals nothing without the fans, without the support of the people. So for me, it's all about the people and all about the fans, and giving back as much as I can. And, this is just a small thing that I want to give back, the Zoom calls, the signing of the hats, the gloves. It's just it's a token of my appreciation for your support.
No, Billy, thank you so much. And I mean, my next question was going to be, do you have anything to say to them? I think you nailed that head on. So just for everyone watching again, the NFT drop will be this Sunday on the Sportsfinda Marketplace. Please join our Discord channel to find out any new updates on the drop. And of course, once we start to sell these NFTs, we will start to obviously liaise with Billy and to start giving away some of these prizes in which we just mentioned now. This is going to be a lot of demand, so I would actually suggest a lot of you to get there early when we do the drop. There is a limited amount of each tier and each collection, and the inherent value for these NFTs is quite apparent, I believe. So, Billy, before we end off, there's a question I always love to ask the athletes before we end off on our podcast. And it's not an unusual question, but it's one in which I actually like to see how a person perceives their idols, for example. So, if you could have lunch with anyone that's dead or alive, who would that be and why? I have a feeling who you're going to say, but
well, I can tell you that two of the guys that I'd love to have dinner with, one would be Michael Jordan. That's from a sporting field, Michael Jordan. Obviously, he's an NBA player. The other one was Anthony Hardaway, who is also an NBA player who played for the Orlando Magic. He played for the Miami Heat, Phoenix Suns. He's another one of these that I really looked up to as a kid. And the other one would be Muhammad Ali. So that's the three that I. Because Prince Nassim and I are good friends, and he's family to me. So I'm sure that I could have dinner with him anytime. But three people who I'd love to have dinner with would definitely be Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, and Anthony Hardaway.
All right. Okay. So now that we've got done with the whole interview and everything that I had prepared, tell me about your interaction with Mike Tyson. What is something that actually surprised you about him or something
Well,
that you did not expect from him? Because I know he's a
oh
very
man, look,
unique and intelligent
Mike
man.
Tyson was special, man, and meeting him was definitely a defining moment in my life. Imagine being 21 years of age, and I'm so thankful to Jeff Fennick, because without Jeff Fennick, that would have never been made. That would have never come to fruition. Only through the kindness of Jeff was that something that happened for me. And meeting Mike Tyson was definitely a blessing, and so many doors opened up from meeting Mike. Obviously being in Las Vegas, and through being around Mike and training over there, I managed to connect with Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, Bernard Hopkins, and that finally led to me getting signed up to Golden Boy. And what a journey it was, man. But Mike Tyson was amazing. He was just fantastic to me. I at the start it was a little bit difficult because he doesn't let a lot of people in, but once he sort of once I gained his trust, he became really cool with me. We spent some really cool times together and had some laughs.
No, fantastic. And I think a lot of people, including myself, are somewhat envious of you. But that's testament to who you are and what you achieved, man. No, it's massive. So, yeah, thank you to everyone that's jumped on live. We will be obviously sharing this on our other social media channels. So just to end off, I do have a bit of information on the NFTs. So the gold collection, we will be releasing 50 of those. The fire collection will be releasing 75 of those. And the ice cold, we'll be releasing 150 of those, each tiered at their own prices. So guys, please look out for the drop on Sunday, and I'm so excited for this. Billy, thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity. Do you have any
Thank you very much. I just want to say,
audience?
guys, I appreciate your support. And once again, I'm nothing without the fans. So thank you, guys. I really, really appreciate the love and support. And, check these NFTs out and, continue to show love. God bless you all.
God bless, man. Thank you, Billy, man. Take care, dude. All right, take care. And for those of you, last thing that are watching, please just like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube and social media channels. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. And yeah, thank you all for joining. I appreciate your time, and please look forward to the next NFT drop we have. Sportsfinda.